All right, let's dive into it here. So Jund Klothys, I feel like Klothys is a card that we've been trying for most of the season to try and find a good home for. Every time we play Klothys, the conclusion is basically always the same. We're like, Klothys is really sweet and feels powerful, but the rest of the shell that we've played her in just wasn't particularly good. Hey, Buns, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. So this shell, I think, is a really neat take on trying to make this card work. So this shell is actually very close to the Red-Black Titan deck that we're going to wrap up with today. It's playing Kroxa alongside Mire Triton, and Tiamat Calls the Dead here to fuel this underworld threat, but we're also adding in this Deathless Knight here. So 4/2 haste, when you gain life for the first time each turn, you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. This card is not only a 4 devotion for Klothys to try and get her into a creature, but Klothys also returns this to play because she gains this life each turn, and Deathless Knight also works well with Vraska Golgari Queen because you can sack the Deathless Knight to Vraska to draw a card, and then her life gain triggers the Knight to pop it back up to your hand. So a lot of good small synergies in here. I think the average card quality in this deck is pretty reasonable. A lot of cards in here that are constructed playable in other places. So let's go ahead and dive on into a ladder match or two here with this one and see how it goes. Been watching a lot of medium content lately. Time to come back home. We're glad to have you. Welcome back to Hooglandia. Pretty easy mulligan here to start, I think. Bunch of tapped lands and no double blacks. Like, this hand not only needs to draw spells to keep it most likely, but it also needs to draw another black source. So when your hand needs lands and spells, it's usually a good sign to mulligan it. Hey, Striker Droid, thanks for ripping that prime. Welcome back. Definitely keeping this. I think we're going to go ahead and bottom the Cavalier of Night here. Pretty far away from that. Opponent's username is Jack Torrance. I feel like I recognize that name, but I can't put my finger on from where. Why, hello there. Thank you for the 20 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It was a pretty good draw. Gives us our land for the Calls the Dead. Calls the Dead can also draw us into things like Deathless Knight, which is great. Silence Uck, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. I think we're just going to go ahead and Stompy the Risen Reef here before I can draw more cards. I think that's slightly better than playing Calls the Dead right now. Man, our opponents have played a lot of 3/3 Hydroid Graces today. Huh. So, I'm missing double red. So, even if I use Calls the Dead to fill the bin up, it's not particularly exciting here. I think I'm just going to get Klothys going, start buffering my life total a little bit. A lot of people mention The Shining, so I believe you that name is from that book/movie, but I don't think I've ever read that book or watched that movie, so I feel like that's not it. Nissa is pretty scary here. She is like, these ramp decks have kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, I feel like, but Nissa Hydroid Crisis still exists, it feels like, to solely clobber us. Klothys could give us double red down the line. That's a good thing to think about. Because Calls the Dead can flip over lands. kind of feel like we're just between a rock and a hard place. And this is just like pumps out endless 3/3s here. I guess I do this. And like, we're kind of choked on mana is an issue, so like, the Deathless Knight could trade with a 3/3 and then we can get the Deathless Knight back, thanks to Klothys, but... Hello! Oh, your cup's stuck? Ah, big strong dad's got it. Love you, dude. Close the door behind you. You're welcome, bud. The lid on his water cup was stuck shut. Are we dead? I'm gonna concede to a Crisis here, huh? This is draw 5. Yeah. It's big. It's a big one. Massacre Girl sounds great here. Cavalier, probably not so much. Bonecrusher Giant, probably not super useful. Let's bring in the Agonizing Remorses. They probably have Uro this can take from the bin, and taking their Nissa or something before it happens sounds potentially very good. Hey, Foxo Khan. Thank you for the 2 entire years of support. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Happy Saturday. You know, I don't think I've ever recognized that Alucard as Dracula backwards. Look at that. It totally totes is. The more you know. The more you know. Welcome back, Mortrex. I think this is a mulligan without a green source, huh? I think if I had all my colors, I might speculate and keep that. This is much better. We'll bottom my Kroxa, play a Scryland on 1 to hopefully help us find some land drops. Easy bottom there. I think I'm supposed to Remorse first. It could go either way. I'm gonna Kroxa first, actually, because Kroxing first gives them... Kroxing first, that's a reason to Remorse first. So, Remorsing second gives them 1 more turn to draw a high-impact spell that I want to take away. But Uro makes Kroxing first much worse. They had 2 Uros anyways. Doesn't even matter anymore. We'll play Vraska next turn and gobble up this Risen Reef. Zap. So I'm going to go ahead and make red here. And then go ahead and draw a card. I want to start filling up my bin for Kroxa here. Since we drew another land, pretty okay to sack that one. You know, get to punch him a little bit. This puts me to cards 4 and 5 in my bin. So that means Vraska next turn will give us something to bin to play Kroxa. Alright, well, I get to take both their 5-drops here. Yeah, as far as Simic Ramp goes, I agree. I've been underwhelmed by the inclusion of, what's it called in the deck? The inclusion of, Thassa.
It seems fortune favors you.
Do I want to do this? I think I want to do this turn. I know they have the Aether Gust, but this 2-for-1s them this turn. If they are able to Aether Gust Kroxa while it's on the stack, they 1-for-1 my Kroxa. Whereas this way, if it takes a card out of their hand and then they Aether Gust it, they get 2-for-1 by it. So I think that's fine. I think if they do Aether Gust this Kroxa, like during their main phase here, I probably put it on bottom. They might wait until it's my turn. If they let me draw, I'm going to put it on top because then Tiamat Calls the Dead just mills it over. But I really don't think I want a Kroxa for the turn. That's true. They might just escape this turn. If they do escape this turn, we could just Murderous Rider and then attack them. Yeah, the fact that Tamiyo, or the fact that Thassa doesn't do anything on her own is a big deal. She's like a card that's only good with other good cards. That's the reason why she really struggles. Would I rather have Kroxa or a 2-2? I think I'd rather have Kroxa, or a 2-2, honestly. Ha! Calls the Dead is actually really sweet with Deathless Knight, huh? Because this can mill Deathless Knight, and then it can also flip the Deathless Knight back up to your hand because the last chapter gains this life. That's like really clean synergies, huh? I didn't think about that aspect when walking through the opener. Both sagas gain life. Oh, yeah, the green saga does too. You're right. So they only have 2 other cards in their bin. So if we kill this here, they can't bring it back right away. They're stuck here with Aether Gust in their hand while we have just a bunch of black cards, which is great. Get to smack them for 2 here. Great, what you got? If we could fade Hydrate Crisis, we'll be in a pretty okay spot here. Huh? I think I'm gonna bottom that and just play another Calls the Dead here. Mill it over. Start by attacking for 2 first, I suppose. We're in match 1, game 2, Murky. So you'll have plenty of time to watch and help us evaluate. I agree, Klothys feels like a card that just hasn't quite found a good home yet. Feels very reasonable. Still looking for a good shell. We played a green-red aggro deck with Klothys in it this morning in Pioneer. That was fine. So, they did 2 Titans because the mix of other 2-color cards they did were gods, right? We got Klothys and the Black-White God and something else. Yeah, Calls the Dead is like a more controlling history of Benalia, I think is the best way to put it. I agree, I wish we would have seen more Titans, though. I think I'm just passing here. Massacre Girl not having a 1 toughness thing to get started on feels real bad. This could very easily take over the game, especially if they find a Crisis soon. I'm not sure we were beating a Crisis without Nissa. With Nissa, we're like almost assuredly not. Gonna draw them too many cards. You tell Timmy to stop calling the dead. Does he think we have unlimited minutes? Do y'all... That feels like a lifetime ago, where like, you remember when the number of minutes of talk you got per month was like a sales feature on your cell phone plan? Yeah, remember when texting cost a dime? Yeah. Those sweet rollover minutes, yep. Yeah, my cell phone's a thing for checking Twitter and playing Raid. It doesn't really make phone calls. Half the time when you get a phone call, it's like let it go to voicemail and then check the voicemail and see if that phone call could be a text message instead. Whenever I get a call from my grandfather, Jake and Declan are always very confused that they can't see him talk on the phone. Because whenever they make a phone call, it's always face to face. My phone is often a smart pop-up ad. Yeah, the robocalls are real bad these days. The single worst part about Jacob starting kindergarten was the fact that I have to check all the voicemails from robocalls now because his school sends them out. Like when there's like a late start or a weather change or something like that. Well, as far as things that could drag us kicking and screaming back into this game, that's towards the top. The school calls instead of sending out a bulk text. They use an automated calling system. It would be much more convenient, speaking of, if they just sent out a text message. That would be infinitely more convenient. Kazaa is greater than LimeWire. Oh. Dangerous 25, thanks for the quarter of your support. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend wherever you are. I feel like we're just like sitting here treading water until we get to a point where we're able to... Okay. Okay, that's actually very good. Did I just choose and exile my Deathless Knight by mistake? No? Wait, I thought I had a Deathless Knight. Okay. So... they have an Aether Gust here, but I think that's fine. I think I want to just YOLO this. I suppose I could send in the squad. I gain some... oh, they put this to 3. Huh? Yeah, might as well attack with these. We're gonna see them blast us here. And then I think we're escaping Kroxa. They'll Aether Gust it, we'll draw it, we'll play it and escape it again next turn. Sounds like the plan. Around what rank is your raid arena rank? Gold 3, boneless. Getting to silver 1 took me forever though. Was the biggest hump. We are gonna get to have a Titan fight here. What if I attack with everything and then Massacre Girl? That probably works, right? I suppose if they block like this, it doesn't work. Because I only kill... yeah, I was hoping they'd block with Uro. It's unfortunate. Oh, no! Oh! 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 I needed to Massacre and then Titan, right? I'd have gotten it that way? Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, I'm so... because this is till end of turn, right? Ah, I'm really upset with myself that I missed that. Chat was like, it doesn't work, and I stopped looking. Caught it right as I let the Kroxa go. So this would have killed 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I would have gotten to play this post-combat. Or post it, yeah. That's a little rough. I feel like that's a pretty exceptionally bad matchup for us. Like, if you told me we were gonna lose to Nissa Crisis Ramp, I'd be like, yeah, sure, we're gonna get dumpstered by that. It's not really a deck that's super popular in the format right now, and even if it was a mid-range deck like what we're playing, just gets devoured by ramp. Does it only matter if the creature is there when the first trigger goes in the stack? And I believe Massacre Girl is just a delayed trigger for the rest of the turn, right? The Jund deck lost to the big mana deck. Surprise! I'm gonna bottom a non-black source here. I'm gonna try and hit Kroxa to escape back. I think the blue-white matchup is good for this deck. Yeah, I can see that. Both Klothys and the Knight are pretty sticky. That's a phenomenal draw. Teamer, could be Adventures, could be Reclamation. Looks like Adventures. Huh. I'm gonna play Calls the Dead, because if we're lucky and draw Black Source in the middle, we get to escape Klothys next turn. Yep. Sick. Perfect. So, I've only got 6 cards in here right now, so I'm gonna decline this. So I can shock this in and then escape this. So if I were to exile Calls the Dead there, I wouldn't have enough to escape Kroxa from the Underworld. Let's do this, chew another card out of their hand. Get to smack them for 2. And then this thing attacks for like 9 basically every turn. Closes the door very quickly. Okie doke. You wish upon a star. Aether Gust is pretty good. Let's see if they have. If this card's an untapped land, we could be in trouble. If we get to get 1 attack in with Kroxa, Klothys can probably drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line, I'd imagine. Yeah, I agree, Silence. Kroxa is really good at closing. Coffees for closers, and Kroxa is all about trying to get himself a cup of joe. Yeah, Brazen Borrower would not be stellar for us. Sometimes they have a Maelstrom Pulse on the board. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. I think I decline. Smack them down to 8. I'm on 2-turn clock here, technically. See, they might see them, like, escape into Fae. They could also escape into a land plus a Brazen Borrower, and Brazen Borrower would, like, bounce my zombie, bounce my Klothys. Yep. Yep. Feels bad, man. The tempo from Borrower is just so good. I guess the small upside here is because they have 2 Clovers and I only have 2 permanents, they lose their Borrower. Because it loses its target and goes away. I guess I'm just playing this out again and like hoping I get 4 turns with it. We might see them spend their Borrower tempoing it again for a turn. Lucky, lucky, lucky. There's no way they can't. There's no way they can't do that, chat. So I have 2 things. So they target Borrower with either thing. You can't target the same thing twice with the copies because it's gone after the first copy. You can't target both the other ones with the token, chat. When the first one you can't. That's how it works. My opponent didn't make a mistake. That's just how Magic works. It's super awkward sometimes. You have to do it, but they did not make a mistake. That's just how the game works. I think we're dead at this point. Feels like we've kind of blown our load and they're at 8. And we just like don't have appropriate reach to cross the finish line here. We've just got like an endless parade of adventure creatures now. It doesn't say may cast. It says copy it. You may change the targets, I believe is the exact phrasing. Copy it. You may choose new targets. Yeah, casting a copy is not optional. If casting a copy was optional, my opponent would have made a mistake there, but that's not how that card works. Alright, so I think I want these Agonizing Remorses. I think Cavalier of Night's probably too slow. Binding's probably a little bit too slow. Do I want Brontodon? Brontodon's a little clunky. Spending 4 mana to kill their Clovers is probably just not good enough, and I have Trophy and Vraska to do that. Bonecrusher's good because it kills Borrower and it kills the Innkeeper, so I think I'm just going to submit like this. What problem do you think you're solving by playing more trophies in the deck? Well, I mean, the reason why you didn't see a deck like... Oh, you talking about Temur Adventures? Yeah, Temur Adventures probably would have been pretty okay for the Worlds Tournament. I'm told it has a tough matchup against the Jeskai Fires deck, but it's pretty good against Blue-White. Hoping to run off a couple of lands here to go 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'm supposed to have Agonizing Remorse done too there to try and catch the Clover before they can play it. That could be a possibility. I think I'm taking Love Struck Beast here. Just gonna stonewall my attackers too hard. Woof. Rip. Yeah, I don't know that, like, Protection's a good comparison there, because, like you said, Protection's is just a really bad mechanic in general. I want those lands anyways, it's fine. We've also got, like, my basic forest Kroxa going on here, which is a Scotch awkward. Anxious Hippo, calm down now, you're welcome back to Hooglandia. It's the 14 months. Yeah, let's do Klothys here. The Aether Gust it will bottom it. Could see them, like, Fey into ambush, kill a 2-1 here. They might just want to tempo the Klothys with the Aether Gust, though. I guess they could do Fey plus Gust. I think if they Gust, I'm bottoming, just so I can try and get to my 4s ASAP. Oh, I guess if this survived, we would have guaranteed had a 4, right? I think I want to try and cast a 4 this turn, though. If we get to cast Deathless Knight, we could probably run them down. Great. See if they trade here or not. I'm probably supposed to attack before playing the Calls the Dead. Just so they don't know that I'm going to have 2/2s they might want to be blocking. Okay. Calls the Dead is pretty... The escape creatures, too. Our deck in general is pretty bad against Brazen Borrower, especially multiple of them. Bonecrusher's ready. Yikes. And like next turn they have Borrower on exile that they're gonna get to do stuff with. I mean, I guess I exile this, but feels like this one's pretty done. Getting nice and cozy here on the Diamond 4 rank floor. That's hilarious, JMP. Alright, they gambled and won here. Risked it for the biscuit to get to the Brazen Borrower. So they're gonna get to bounce both my... Get to bounce all my stuff. Yeah, I don't know, Wargame. I feel like there's enough things, like, I kind of hope we run into the blue-white matchup, because I'd like to see how that goes, but Like this and the ramp matchup didn't seem close. Like I said, I don't know that having a bad ramp matchup is necessarily disqualifying for something based on what the formats look like, but Temur Adventures has definitely been popular. Nice and cozy here on the Platinum 4 rank floor, chat. It's a good time to experiment. Sure. A bottom giant here. Let's bottom Murderous Rider, actually. Fetch a swamp, play a Stomping Ground. Wait to fetch, because this is game one. We don't want them to necessarily know what we're doing. What basic we fetch could impact their turn one decisions. Not likely, but possible. Wow, that's just good clean living right there. Mire Triton, mill Deathless Knight, pick it up. 2-1 Death Touch Elvish Visionary. Yes, please. We skillfully milled 2 non-lands there. And then we drew a land for the turn. Ugh. This again. Things are not looking good for our hero, chat. See if we can hit a land drop. Maybe I'm supposed to fetch Mountain there so I can play Klothys. I guess I don't have any black cards other than Kroxa at the moment. I can't cast Klothys off of these 3 lands. Yeah, I think Mountain was probably the correct play. That post-lunch slump as the food settles is hitting. Stand up and shake it out a little bit here. Well then. I don't know if the mana in this deck is strictly bad. We've struggled. One of the things I feel like people don't struggle, or one of the things people struggle to identify or don't do enough when they're talking about their mana is like, you need to identify the games where you like didn't have your colors, but you also just didn't have lands. Like, this game, like, it looked like we were gonna have issues with our colors, but we also just like didn't have a 4th land, which is a big deal. Angress Rampage is an interesting thought for a potential piece of technology. If their last card's not Brazen Borrower, we could win this game, I think. If their last card's Brazen Borrower and they like bounce my Klothys here in response, I think we're gonna be pretty sad. Like, get to bounce Klothys, bounce my zombie token. Yeah, vomit. So we deal 3 to them, but like, we're just like set back infinitely here. There's only 3 cards left in my bin. Just thoroughly choked up on mana here. And they were out of cards, and then they drew a draw 5 off the top. Feels magic, man. Last card, exactly the one to blow us out, followed by a draw 5 on top after their tank is empty. Yikes. They just have too many things here. I don't even think I can try and punk them out with Deathless Knight reasonably, and Klothys is just going to take too long to get going. I wouldn't be surprised if they expected... I wouldn't be surprised if they expected Lucky Clover to make an impact. I feel like that card's pretty reasonable overall. I'm going to try and bring in Massacre Girl this time. She kind of resets the board in a meaningful way, I think. They have a lot of X1s between Brazen Borrower and Innkeeper. What are my last two trims? Gosh, is it crazy to just trim Kroxa? It's just so awkward against their bounce spells. I'm going to try and trim Kroxa. All right, you know what? We're on the rank floor. We've already played this matchup. Let's take a do-over here, huh? Try and find some red. Try and find some red and stuff. I mean, I respond to other parts of the Discord too. Why sticks? I check lots of different messages. Like I just responded in general. I check Twitter and stuff while I'm on too. My heart is all over the place. One of those darn millennials who has the attention span of a fly. Just part of the reason why I'm good at following chat while I stream. Perfect. Hey, don't be teamer. Let's play a different matchup. Alright, still might not be Teamer. Maybe if they're Teamer, they'll be Teamer Rec. If they're playing Teamer Adventures, I'm conceding the match. We're on the rank floor. I just want to try and find something different to play against. Just to get a little bit more variety into our set for this deck. Give it a chance in more places. If they're playing Bant, I'm okay with that. If they're playing Teamer Reclamation, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to play another set against Adventures. Just feel like I don't have much to learn there. Main deck negate. Who hurt you, opponent? Are they playing Flash? Is this another Nissa Crisis deck? That's kind of vomit-inducing. I don't feel like playing against Breeding Pool. Let's try and find someone not playing Breeding Pool. That's the like real upside to like being on the rank floor. All right, take 3. We already spent like a match and a half slogging against Simic things. I want to see us against like not Breeding Pool. Klothys is a scotch awkward, but the rest of the hand is good. Like, if I, like, look at this and, like, look at the 6 without the second Klothys, the hand's very reasonable. Can we cut this up for YouTube? Nope. Video editing is an extremely long and tedious process. That's an awkward draw. My average YouTube video does not make anywhere near enough money to spend time editing. Sweet. Something not breeding pool. Sign me up. You just close one eye and it's a good 6, exactly. Unfortunately, our plan of drawing a land at some point here is not really working. Feels magic, man. The ladder system on Magic Arena creates states of mind that are very mentally unhealthy for many people. It is a high anxiety system that is not well designed and not super player friendly. In my opinion. We've played Girl Fires on stream before, Mail Branch. Also played a Teamer Fires variation.
Right on schedule. Don't worry, I got this.
Oh, I'm so sideways, chat. I'm just so sideways. I think I'm gonna keep this. Because I, like, need to kill this Teferi, but I probably also need to kill whatever their follow-up is. Really? Really surprised they haven't cashed this Teferi into draw card. They're just like so low on resources. They have like a Mystic Dispute or something here to counter this. They didn't have a 5-drop last turn, so their odds of having a 5-drop here are pretty low, right? I guess I play this out to block. Pass. They get to start scrying 2 here. I feel like Prophecy just ended up being... Prophecy is like a higher variance, higher payoff version of... Higher variance, higher payoff version of Omen of the Sea, Sea Ordain. I think you'd rather just have the consistency to hit your lands when you peel it off the top more than anything. Alright, Bonecrusher's not great here. This isn't very good for grinding. I feel like Mire Triton's effect's not particularly good. We'll leave 1 binding in. Alright, let's give... Vraska sucks, actually. She doesn't really destroy anything meaningfully, right? I guess she kills Teferi, but we don't really care about Teferi. Yeah, I feel like I saw that in most decks at various points. Nicotaz, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the range of keepable, huh? Probably gonna bottom the Overgrown Tomb here, because I need black, black, red, red. Yeah, I feel like if we fall on our face here again in this match, I'm gonna call it a day with this build. And we'll move along to Red Black Titan for the remainder of the stream. This feels like it's very similar to the Red Black Titan deck, but it's a little bit clunkier overall because it's playing a bunch of 4s and 5s, whereas the Red Black Titan deck's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more aggressive with things like Phoenix. Perfect. Okay. Well, we're gonna need to play 4 lands in 4 turns, which is more than has happened in most of these games. So we've got that going for us. Okay. Plan to feel the burn Tuesday when I vote. Thank you for participating in the democratic process. And more importantly, thanks for supporting Mr. Sanders. All right, so we get to get Temple of Abandon here, make a mana. And then this fetches our other swamp. And gets to play Cavalier of Night to kill the Legion War boss, which is great. And thanks for the 5 months per video. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Super Tuesday is Tuesday this week, chat. Voting in South Carolina is happening today. Excited to see. Anybody know what time the polls close in Carolina? They go to 7 or 8 Eastern? 7 Eastern, so another hour and a half. So let's get aggressive here. We get to play this. We get to haste this. We get to smack them. They could double block Cavalier if they want. They get back Mire Triton if they do. They could also just chump block Shifting Ceratops. Little mishap there. They blocked my 4/5 instead of my 5/4. Maybe they're just used to Ceratops being able to gain trample, that they didn't reaccount for the fact that I didn't have green mana. Probably what happened. Definitely been there, done that.
I know my responsibility. I've got time.
Sure. So this puts them to 7. This hit puts them to 2. So not sacrificing Shifty Boy, obviously. So we've got 2 lethal threats plus a lethal Klothys next turn. So they got a lot they have to answer. Might be getting on the scoreboard here. Ceratops is definitely a card that's very stellar in this format. If they manage to sweep the board too, Cavalier brings back Mire Triton, which is also lethal next turn.
Might be a bad idea.
I suppose they could have like a Brazen Borrower to bounce Klothys, plus an instant speed sweeper on my turn, plus a shatter. Okay, this lets them gain life. Do they have another Clarion? If they have another Clarion, they're not dead this turn. Okay. They're dead to a Deathless Knight, though. Prioritize taking their creatures and planeswalkers out because they could play Conqueror's Death. I'm gonna go ahead and clear Teferi now so they don't have an instant speed sweeper next turn. Take this out. So, dead on board to my creatures, dead to the Klothys in 2. Alright, there was a game 3. I feel like we've run a little bit below average as far as hitting our mana consistently has been concerned. Like, we had lands on time, we got to cast our spells, we played an okay game there. A lot of games we've played so far with this, we've struggled to do those things. Yes, this deck would love Satyr Wayfinder. Big agree. Unfortunately, that silly 3-1 that we had that's standard legal is just not the same. This hand is a little bit because we're playing Jund Gates, but I think on the draw with the Scries, I keep this because we're likely to hit our land somewhat consistently. Not quite as good as Sphinx of the Good Hands. What would you like to see out of Ikiora that might help out Pioneer or make Standard better? I don't know. Let's rephrase. I'm definitely keeping that. I don't think you could print cards into Pioneer to make it less of a combo fest. I think the only way they move Pioneer back towards what it was is with bannings. I also would be happy with Pioneer if they went the other direction, though, and unbanned things. I think if they looked at Pioneer and were like, okay, we need to press the reset button. We're giving you back Felidar Guardian. We're giving you back Field of the Dead. We're giving you back Smuggler's Copter. I think that would be an appropriate response. I would be happy with that course of action. I had posted a short highlight rant video on YouTube earlier this week, talking about what I would like to see happen with the ban list. Anything for Standard? No, I think Standard's pretty reasonable right now. There's a good range of decks, good range of strategies. Parts of the format are like, it's like a Scotch 2 combo centric for my personal taste, but I think the format's well balanced. I don't think there's any need to adjust anything for any reason. Yes, I would leave Veil of Summer and Once Upon a Time banned everywhere. I think those are cards that should probably just be like shift deleted from Magic in general. This is my horse. My horse is amazing. I personally think that bigger standard formats tend to be more fun. I think, and we have to actually talk about this week too. I think it would be a neat experiment to see, like, is standard better if we're like always in 7-set, 8-set standard? What if instead of going from 5 sets up to 8 and then back down to 5, we just always had 7 or 8? Deeper card pools tend to be better for brewing, in my experience. There's more puzzles to solve, right? Because there's more pieces to work with. They put a card on top, so kind of expecting a red source to happen next turn. Would not be surprised to see, like, red source into fires. I don't think you necessarily have to have a set leave every set release, but you could have a set leave every other set. Like, always be 7-8 set. Oh, Beansy. Am I just Murderous? I think I'm just Cavaliering here again. Like, I have Murderous Rider as another removal spell for their next threat. There's the fires we were expecting to see once they found red mana. Have a Cavalier come down now? Sure. You are certainly a bigger whale than I am, Beansy. So, I think we just Murderous Rider here. And then I can... Okay, so this is actually really small, but it's important. I should have played this first, because I should make them discard a card before they know I'm about to kill their Cavalier. So I've let them choose to discard with extra information when I didn't need to. All right, they're technically dead on board. Let's see what they've got. I get to escape my Kroxa next turn too, which is appealing. Yeah, the whales in games like Raid the Drunk Owl are like way bigger than whales in games like Magic. I was on a Discord server for it, and someone said they spent like $600 a month on average. So it's just like, all right. I mean, if you, like, actually look at the deals that pop up in the game as opposed to just Xing them out, there's a lot of them, and many of them are expensive. I'm gonna prioritize taking their creatures again here, because sometimes their archetype plays Conquer's Death. They're actually almost just dead to direct damage here. Like, this Kroxa comes into play and deals 3 to them. I mean, like, as someone who knew, like, and I'm sure many of you know this, like, I knew lots of people during undergrad and grad school who would, like, spend, I don't know, $500, even $1,000 at the bar a weekend a month or 2 weekends a month. Different people in different situations have different spending amounts. Yeah, you could easily spend $1,000 on Arena over the course of a year. But, like, for reference, like the gacha games, there's some people that, like, spend that per month. Oh, that's a good line. This could return this Kroxa to play. Yeah, if I attacked with this, they were forced to chump block. Because if they killed it, the Kroxa killed them. I feel like I want to give this another shot. Maybe we should go up a land. Kind of feel like I want to go up a land. The games we played there where we like had mana to cast our spells like felt really good. There's 25 in here. 25 feels like it should be enough. What if we cut these Binding of the Titans and play 2 Paradise Druid? I feel like that's not unreasonable. It's like a pseudo land. Let's try that. I feel like with the Mire Tritons and the Calls the Dead, we have enough for Kroxa. I lived in Calgary for a year, and there were people that regularly spent $200+ a night at bars 5 nights a week. Yep. Yep. Paradise Druid is like one of those like... Hey, Tide to Crims, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It's like not quite a land, but it's not quite... I did not notice that to Freaky. I wasn't looking super close though. Yeah, I guess I keep that. I want my guaranteed mana.
Oh,
It's really cold down here. Is it cold upstairs?
it's cold upstairs too. Did you turn the heat off? I didn't check.
No, I did not touch it. Alright. Let's take one more crack at Teamer Adventures here with slightly better mana. Hey, Chiona. Thanks for the entire year support. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Okay, that's a Vraska. So now I have to decide, would I rather play Klothys this turn? Oh, you know what? If I play Klothys this turn, I can still Vraska next turn because we milled the land. That's perfect. Historic Anthology goes live on March 12th. I am taking submissions for historic decks, both build-arounds and specific lists with those cards in it now. If you're not quite sure what you want to build.
How's chat doing today? Are they being nice?
Chat's always nice here in Hoaglandia.
Yeah, I'm sure that's...
What is the Historic Anthology? The Historic Anthology are what the cards that are added directly to Historic are called. So in addition to sets that are printed into Standard being legal in Historic, they also add 20 cards directly to the format from Magic's history every quarter. That's true. The people who aren't nice are generally removed from this chat. It's one of the prime features of Hoaglandia.
They were mostly fine, but like, so we went to the store, right? And I promised them we could go to the store and get some arts and crafts supplies. So like we got some popsicle sticks and pipe cleaners and, you know, stuff like that. And then I wanted to get some groceries too. And we're walking around the store, and every time I stopped to get something off the shelf, Declan sat down because it was too much walking.
It was too much walking. Listen, he's American. You need to cut him some slack, okay?
So they're both laying on the couch watching TV now because they're too tired to do anything.
Child-sized mobility scooters, Wed. Asking the real questions.
Oh, and we went to the craft store and they did a craft like class in the classroom at the craft store.
What'd they make?
They made trees with paint and paper. paper. It's a painting, but the leaves are construction paper.
How did we meet? There is a co-ed branch of Boy Scouts of America called Venturing. Although all of BSA is co-ed. Co-ed now, scouting.
I do want to point out that we didn't date while we were in Scouts. We
Sure.
both stopped Scouts, lost touch for several years, and then reconnected. I want people to think that Scouts is a dating service. It's it sends the wrong message. Didn't that used to be a thing? A meme?
They did just declare.
Message?
They did just declare bankruptcy.
Oh, the Russian foil stomping grounds. Is that sending a mess? Is that the send a message meme?
It sounds so much more romantic the way she says it.
He's just ignoring me.
Oh.
He wasn't listening.
Brazen Borrower plus Lucky Clover is just such an unreal amount of tempo. Not sure we're really going to be able to keep up here. Really wanted to draw a land so that way we could, like, Murderous Rider plus play a 3-drop. Yeah, it feels dead,
Did
man.
you fix your chair?
No, I did not take time off from streaming to fix the chair. I'll screw it back in later. I think I'm gonna be done with this one. I'm interested to get to the red-black Kroxa deck and see how that feels, but this deck does not feel competitive against the Temur deck, and the Temur Adventures deck has been all over the ladder. Maybe there's a world where, or a format where, like, Temur Adventures, like, dies off a little bit, but I feel like the average converted mana costs are kind of high in this deck, and just getting bounced over and over again without having good sources of pressure just puts us in a bad spot. Especially when, like, one of our best sources of pressure, Kroxa here, is just so bad against Brazen Borrower, because when they bounce this after it escapes, you have to be able to re-escape it again, though.
Can we play some cards that aren't so, like, dark and depressing?
Dark and Dreary. We're actually going to play a deck that's just straight
Can we play
red.
the ones with the, like, the gingerbread cookies and the, like, fairy tales? Do you have one of those?
We're actually going to play another Dark Dreary deck.
Oh.
We got some red-black Titan here. Look at this guy. Like, he's eating them.
Next time somebody gives dealer's choice bits, can we put a fairy tale deck in?
You need a
the
fairy
queue?
tale deck in the queue? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. At any rate, we're going to try this variation of red-black Titan up next. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get set up and flip everything over this one. Restart our wonderfully memory-leaking release-ready client. Be back in just a few for the last deck of the day. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.
But only some people see the ad, the rest hear you still.
Yep, everybody else can still hear us.